You know, your brain is infested with so much misinformation about the Troubles, and I grew up in a very mixed neighbourhood as a Roman Catholic. My house was bombed when I was 4 years of age. My brother's best friend was shot dead at the corner of my street. He had to move to America at the age of 17 because he was going to get shot. And it's a very confused world. You can't really understand what happened there. It's difficult to understand, but 71 was really important for me because it kind of, in a way, told more truth about the situation than most. I mean, I grew up sort of being told that British soldiers were complete scumbags, and I'm sure a lot of them were. But I think a lot of every other element of the war were as well. And Jack O'Connell's character just portrayed a character that was just an innocent bystander who grew up in a very working class neighbourhood and ended up in Belfast out of his depth, and along the way just sort of had to overcome the hurdles of so much corruption from every corner, like from the British Army and the Ulster Defence Regiment and the RUC and the IRA and the UVF. And I do believe that there were a lot of people who were fighting for a just cause, but I also believe there were a lot of people who were just complete scum. And when you sort of grow out of that, and I grew up and I see kids that size with t-shirts that are sort of radiating kind of like hate and conflict, and then they have no idea they don't even know how to spell Ulster. So ultimately 71 was such a brilliant film because it focused on the children and the innocence of the children. Nah, because I was with an amazing director. Yan Demange is one of the greatest directors, if not the greatest director I've ever worked with, in the sense that he was personally, we connected on a different way, on a different level. He has an energy that is just second in. I mean, it's just a personal thing. I've done like 6-7 movies with Steven Soderbergh. I've worked with Steve McQueen. I've worked with Michael Winterbottom, Glenn Leyburn, Lisa Barstessal, like Oliver Hirschbiegel, like really great directors. But Jan and I just, it's like Glenn and Lisa, we're partners and they're amazing and we connect on a completely different level. But someone like Jan, we didn't know each other, but we had this kind of like synergy. And he was just an amazing collaborator and brilliant person to work with, and he just told me like it was. He was just, he spoke to me very directly, and that's something that I respond to, rather than kind of beating about the bush and like, oh, well, I really like what you're doing. And you can tell that it's just all people just being politically correct, where Jan's just in your face. But I really admire and love that because that's what I'm like. Oh no, the whole thing was completely accidental. I'd never be doing what I'm doing if it hadn't been for the media. Because it was the media who said, your music's very kind of like cinematic, and I was like, really? I wasn't trying to be cinematic, I was just trying to be me. So that really helped me, pushed me, made me think differently. Life's just a learning curve, innit? You know what I mean? Like every day you learn something new. It makes you think a different way. It makes you like look at things a little more differently, and it's kind of just crazy. I'm so thankful to be just working in a job where I'm just like you. Don't have to get up at 4 a.m. and dig the roads. And that's not the worst job in the world either, because that can also be very therapeutic. But I'm just thankful that I'm in the job that inspires me, makes me happy, pushes me forward, makes me inspired, and all that bullshit. It's coming. It's 80%.
So what's it sounding like?
Technicolor. That's the only thing. That was my inspiration. It's like films like Technicolor, like The Wizard of Oz, just but in modern, like just explosion of color, like every color you can imagine. You know. Oh, I'm about to give birth. I'm going to go into labor in the next 2 months.
Yeah, last question.
I gotta write songs. All the music's finished. I just gotta write songs. But I've written the melodies. You know, when I was drunk, 2 bottles of wine, melancholy, sad, in my studio, dictaphone, music on low, just singing like you know, like, and then you listen to it back and oh, that's not bad, you know. So now I gotta make it a reality.